Hello from Australia. My name is Olga and I'm completely blind. In this video, I'm going to share with you my bittersweet love history. Basically, it's a journey from being a loser to becoming a successful and happy woman. Well, it starts at the age of 19 back in Ukraine, where I originally come from, when my first husband proposed to me at a McDonald's. I know it sounds ridiculous, but of course, what is even more ridiculous, that I said yes. Alright, so as dramatically as our marriage started, as dramatically it ended after 3 years. Well, you see, as you may have heard from one of the prominent Soviet leaders, there was no sex in Soviet Union. Well, because there is no sex, there is no need for appropriate contraception. So my ex-husband and I pretty quickly cooked a baby. And at that time, we both were students, so as you can imagine, student life and parenting don't really result into a happy marriage. So at the age of 22, I was a divorced, single mother, a struggling student, and I had to move in with my parents because I couldn't afford living on my own. So in other words, I was a loser. And when you feel like a loser, you act like a loser. So instead of taking my time to figure out who I was, what I wanted, I straight away jumped into searching for another relationship. And because I didn't feel confident enough about myself, I decided to register at a dating website for people with disabilities. I just didn't want to be different from others. I didn't want to have to explain that I'm blind, blah blah blah, because I know the reaction wouldn't be fantastic. The problem was that men at that website didn't seem to be serious. There was one guy from Holland who was very creative, finding excuses not to see me face to face. First, he said, "Oh, I have to go to serve in Afghanistan." Then, when he was back, he got all of a sudden into a car accident. And finally, poor bugger got kidney cancer. Oh, I hope he really was telling me stories for his own sake. Anyway, after being fooled like that for a year or even more, I figured that that website wasn't leading me anywhere, so I finally got brave enough, confident enough to register at a regular dating website. I first indicated in my profile that I was blind. And guess what? No one would write to me or respond to my letters. I thought, well, I guess I'll have to hide the fact that I'm blind and then tell the man a bit later about my eyesight. And as soon as the man would learn about it, at best they would go as quiet as a fish, and at worst they would say really nasty things. One guy said, "Oh, okay, you're blind, so when you get angry, would you poke me with your stick?" Or another guy said something even more pleasant. "Oh, okay, I'm glad I made you feel sexy. You probably don't get to experience much of that." Oh, thank you so much. Such a gentleman. What a generosity. Anyway, eventually I did meet a guy who didn't mind that I was blind. He was an American living and working in Estonia, but he had quite a bit on his own plate. He was divorced after 20 years of marriage because his ex-wife left him for a woman. All right, and he also had a child with some developmental disabilities. His son was 5. My son from the first marriage was 5 then as well. So 2 boys were quite a handful. But the problem is that my fiancé, actually, I forgot to mention that he proposed to me on the third day after he met me face to face. And having a history of being proposed at ugly places, this time I said yes at a rental apartment. Anyway, our marriage didn't go ahead because my fiancé imagined marriage as lying in bed and eating chocolate. And with 2 5-year-old boys, it was as far from it as you can imagine. By the time you're in bed, you don't feel like any chocolate. You feel like sleeping through the night as far away from each other as possible. He said, "Oh, you can keep the ring." How generous of him. That's how he valued my broken heart. And actually, I was quite depressed because of that breakdown. But luckily at that time I got a new job at a 5-star hotel as a spa and massage therapist. It distracted me a lot from my heartache. I was meeting every day really incredible people. I had some international rock stars as my clients, international soccer players, some prominent businessmen and politicians. I really loved my job, and it helped me to build up my self-confidence and self-esteem. And I realized actually I'm not looking for whoever. I'm looking for someone really special. And I sat down one day and made a list of what I was looking for, who I was looking for, and guess what? I did find that guy. He's from Australia. His name is Anthony, and we've been married now for 7 years. To his first date with me, he had to fly all the way from Australia to Ukraine for 30 hours. And it was love from first sight, from first word, from first touch. Straight away we knew it was serious. Straight away we knew it would lead to a marriage. This time he proposed to me, not at a McDonald's, not a rental apartment, but at the grounds of a gorgeous temple. And of course I said yes. My lucky third yes. And indeed it was a lucky one. Anthony is amazing. He is very warm, very supportive, and I'm not a gold digger, but I have to mention it just because I think it's a bit significant in the for the sake of the story, that he is very successful as a doctor and as a businessman. So I'm actually very blessed. He became a great father to my son from the first marriage, and we have a 3-year-old of our own, and we are very happy together. And I would really want with all my heart to wish you, if you had a heartbreak, not to despair. Focus on working on yourself, on self-education. Try to build up your own confidence, and the right person will come into your life at the right time and of course sweep you off your feet. Please share this video if you liked it. Please let me know in the comments about your stories. Give me a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.